Alright people, Catfish Dave here. It's raining. There's always some kind of undesirable condition when I'm trying to make a fishing video. Either way, the title of this video is Master Baiter. You know, since I've had the boat, I haven't froze the first skipjack. I can always get it somewhere. Now I've been a little lazy, and I've been driving all the way to Watts Bar Dam because they were just easy. I drive 80 miles and have enough to fish for 3 days. You start getting up in the local reservoirs that are hammered, you know, it can get a little tougher. I'm here at the lower end of Fort Loudon Reservoir. And back in my bank fishing days, you start getting in the month of October, you can find them in these creeks. Now I ain't seeing nothing jumping, I ain't seeing nothing breaking. Typically you see all this bait on the surface of the water and you'll see them break in the water. I ain't seeing squat. But I'm here with several outfits, a Foley spoon, some flies, some plastics, Bobby Garlands, twisty tails, and I'm gonna throw whatever it takes to get some bait. And then if I score a decent amount of bait, I may just drag some bait back to the ramp and see if we can't score some catfish. Without this bait, you ain't jack squat in the catfish world. Skipjack is king, and that's what we need today. We're going to start out with a Foley spoon. I'm going to start throwing into this culvert under the road. It's a creek culvert. We'll try there first, and we'll just throw all around. It would be really nice if these things would break water and get active. I broke about 6 inches off the tip of this rod today, putting it at the boat ramp. It was quite an expensive rod, so I just took some cutters and cut it off down to one of the guides, and that's what we're going to use. It's a lot stiffer of a rod now than it was. It's a bit shorter. So far we ain't catching squat. I need a skipjack. I need about 20 so I can fish for a while. If you can't master the bait, you ain't never gonna get decent catfish. Frozen bait's better than none, but you will have a lot more fun with fresh bait. So far we ain't caught jack squat. The small bait that they feed on is not on the surface, or I would be seeing them. So if there is any skipjack in here at all, they're probably running deep. I'm going to throw every option under the sun, do whatever it takes to get it done. If you want to catch them sooner than later, you need to learn how to become a master baiter. One thing that could be the problem is the color or the size of my lure, or the type of lure. Maybe a spoon is not the best thing to throw. Another thing that could be going on is the time of day. You'll find in these creek coves at any certain time of year, there's a certain time window that may be hot. It could be 2 and 4 in the afternoon. It could be from 7 till right before dark. It could be as soon as the sun comes up. And if you get off that time zone, you will definitely catch less bait. I don't know what the time zone is in these coves because I ain't been here. I've been at Watts Bar Dam. But I'm tired of driving 80 miles for bait. I know I've got what it takes. To catch them right here, I'm just going to have to figure out the formula. So far we ain't caught jack squat. One thing I can tell you, the bite in Fort Loudon for skipjack has not been hot in 5 or 6 years. Here again, there's more catfishermen than there is catfish, and all these guys are wanting bait too. So there's definitely less numbers here. And if you're going to catch them here, you better be a master baiter. Okay, let's try another option. This popping cork has a combination of flies and a silver spoon. The splashing action resembles skipjack splashing when they're breaking on surface bait. Sometimes it entices a bite, sometimes it don't. I won't know if it does today until I throw it out there and see what them skipjack got to say. I just seen some skipjack break real briefly on that far rock bank over there. Could be that's where all the bait is. They may make their rounds over here, they may not. If they don't, and I keep seeing them break over there, that's where we're gonna go. When it comes to the lure you're using, it can be a size issue, it can be a color issue, it can be the way you are presenting it. Maybe the size and the color is correct, but you're pulling it too fast. Maybe you're pulling it too slow. Maybe you need to give it a little twitch. The presentation could be all it is, even if your lure is right. So you kind of experiment. Real fast, real slow. Stop it occasionally, give it that pause. Sometimes I've seen it where they only hit it on the pause. Right now I'm tangled up. And here again, you can have everything correct, size-wise, color-wise, presentation-wise. And they may be here, and they may just not be ready to eat. They may not be feeding at all. They may have lockjaw. You won't know until you throw. That's why I bring at least 3 skipjack rods rigged up with different things. And so far, the first ones I've thrown ain't caught squat. Now, I could easily go to Watts Bar Dam and show off and act like I'm a great skipjack fisherman. But they're easy there. In Fort Loudon, you might not catch them unless you're a master baiter. Nothing on that either. And we know they're around because I seen them break right over there. Let's try some plastics. We'll start out with these straight tails, these old Bobby Garlands. And if the straight tail don't work, we'll switch up to a curly tail. There's something they're gonna eat. We have established they are here. All right, y'all, I've seen them break again way over there. So that's telling me they're probably not over here. This isn't Watts Bar Dam. They're not just millions of them scattered from the top to the bottom. This is Fort Loudon where they're fished out. So there's gonna be these small pockets, these small schools of skipjack. That's twice I've seen them break over there. They ain't done nothing here. Let's go over there. Easy enough. We'll go right where they're feeding. The skipjack that I have seen, they're breaking literally right on the bank. I mean right on the bank. No more than 5 foot out from it. I got my depth finder turned off. The depth finder I hear can spook them. Maybe we were throwing the right thing and they just weren't over there. We'll see if they break again now that I'm here. I got something for them if they do. Before I get started on this new spot, I'm gonna eat a piece of cheese. We're gonna conjure up skipjack today. Well, we came over here and I never seen them break again. There's obviously very few skipjack in this cove. And I figured out it's Fort Loudon. Uh-oh. We had one jump at it. We had one look at the popping float, but that's it. He just looked at it. We're going to take the Bobby Garlands off and we're going to change over to a Mr. Twister. We're going to put on a white and a chartreuse, standard skipjack colors. We're going to conjure up a skipjack. I've done seen them. We're going to conjure them. We're going to try that. They're going to eat something. They're going to eat something. All right, y'all, I threw them 4 different things. There's obviously not a lot here. When I initially got over there, they weren't looking at nothing until I threw the popping float, and I seen a skipjack come up and look at the silver spoon. And then I had it happen again, looking just at the silver spoon. Now I was throwing a foley by itself, never getting a bite. I said, okay, if the popper has something to do with them looking at it, let's take the flies off it. And so I had 2 flies on there and a spoon, which was working great a while back at the dam. They would not touch it with those flies on it today. So I also had monofilament leader, and I changed over to some fluorocarbon leader with nothing but the spoon, and now I'm starting to catch some. I've had quite a few chase it, but they are in an extremely finicky mood. I mean, they are very finicky. This is as tough as they get right here, because you know they're here and they just won't hardly touch a lure unless you give them the exact color and presentation that they want. They would not touch a spoon by itself. Here again, this popping cork has saved the day. Now there's many times they won't even look at this popping cork. There's some days the popping cork will run them off. As a master baiter, that's what you're going to have to figure out. Yeah, the master baiter. Yeah, I like being a master baiter. Master baiter. Yo, yeah, King Daddy. I threw flies, I threw grubs, I threw straight tail Bobby Garlands, I threw a foley by itself, I threw a foley and 2 flies combined with a popping float, nothing. Take the flies off with the silver small spoon, and bingo, we're a master baiter. We're going fishing. We're going to get catfish because we figured out the combination. These guys will bring some grubs down here and they don't catch a fish. Just can't catch them. They'll bring flies down here, can't catch a fish. If they're here and you see them feeding, well, they're feeding, so you have established they are biting. They're just not biting what you're throwing. He done bent up my popping cork. That's not good because I've only got one. And since I made that popping cork video, you can't even buy these things. They're all back order. So hopefully I can get some of the bend out of this Yeah, you bend them and they ain't worth a dang. That was a pretty big skipjack. To be a master baiter, you have to explore all the avenues. Later on in the fall, as this water temperature drops, these skipjack will get easy. There'll be a day you come down here. Now you're still going to have to figure out if they want grubs better, if they want flies better that day. But they will be much easier. On a day like today, if you're wanting some bait, you better be a master baiter. Now there may come a time today that they get more active, more willing to hit a lure, and some of these other options may start working. If you get to see them really busting water, they might start hitting other options. But on a day like today, you better be a master baiter. This is the only thing they're looking at right now. And I had to figure out the combination. I was here about 45 minutes before I ever got one to even look at me. Once we unlock the combination, we're not catching a ton, but we've got enough to fish on a day when the skipjack are tough. Yeah, master baiter. Woo! Master baiter. Now, if you see the bite start heating up, because a lot of times this popping cork will get them to heating up. These skipjack are influential. They see another skipjack go after some bait, and they end up turning into piranhas, and they all want to attack it. So once you can conjure a few to bite, it can cause, oop, I got hit right there. It can cause a chain reaction. And you can get them all to bite. But you ain't gonna know these things until you become a master baiter. Now, I'm not catching as many skipjack, but I'm here in Fort Loudon, where there's not as many catfish. Yeah. So, I'm not going to use as much bait. In Fort Loudon Reservoir, I've caught enough bait already to go fishing about 5 times. Yeah! Master baiter. Master baiter. Yes, sir. Don't be no hater, because I'm a master baiter. It's time for another piece of cheese. When you go to Big Fish Outfitters and you pay $8 or $9 a piece for a frozen skipjack, they're not charging you for the day he went out there and caught them things 2 at a time, one after the other. They're charging you for the days that guy went out there, maybe went to one dam and they weren't there, went to another dam and they weren't there, ended up going all the way to Alabama sometimes to try to get enough bait in that cooler to be worth taking back to that bait store. There's days these guys have to travel miles. I've had to travel quite a bit. But I'm traveling less and less the more I become a master baiter. These guys catching bait, they might have went on a week of scouting, fishing 20 areas just to decide which is the best to try to catch the bait at to where it'd be worth going and still getting a profit. So when you're paying that much money for a frozen skipjack, it's not for the days it's easy. It's for all the miles and days they went that they weren't easy. Here today, if I wouldn't have a popping cork on me, I wouldn't have caught the first skipjack most likely, or if I did, I'd caught one or something. Well, that's not enough to go fish. Not for very long. Now, as far as these popping corks, it's not always the ticket. Sometimes it's the worst thing you can do. But there's other times it's the only thing that'll catch them. So you have to have a huge arsenal in your skipjack tackle box between different styles of lures, different sizes of lures, different colors of lures, and including these popping corks to give you a successful trip. Most guys don't even fish Fort Loudon for them anymore because they've gotten so tough to catch because the numbers are down from years ago. They're going to Milton Hill Lake, they're driving to Wasbar Dam. I've seen guys from here drive all the way to Wheeler Reservoir, Alabama to go load up on bait. I knew I would get some because you can still get it done if you're a masturbator. Well, the rain seems to have quit temporarily. While we're here, catfish will move up into these back creeks in October just like the bait fish. So I'm gonna set a course, man, and I'm gonna drag back out. To do that, I'm gonna drive completely out of this creek, and then I'm gonna start recording, drive all the way back in here, hit the stop button, and that trolling motor will follow my track all the way back out. And at that point, I'm gonna throw out some baits on dragon weights. So, all right, y'all, it is trying to sporadically rain on me. I'll try to explain this. I'm running a Mini Coda powder drive. It's the saltwater version. It's a white motor. But the old Terra and there's another one that's got the iPilot. As long as you've got the remote that looks like mine, this is how I do it. Now, they all do it, but I'll show you how I do it on my remote. Now, my motor is not deployed. It is up in the rest lock position. It has not been deployed yet. And the actual recording the track, I can do it without the trolling motor down. Well, that's good because you want to go fast to get this recording over with, and you don't want your trolling motor dragging the water. This will record up to a 2-mile track, and I'll show you what I do. Now, the first step you do, like I say, the motor does not have to be down. So, I've got my screen. Y'all probably can't see the writing, but down here in the left bottom corner, on the right hand side it says lock. On the left hand side it says record. There's a little dot right here for this option, a little dot here for this option. I'm going to hit this dot for record, receiving data, and then it says save here and back here. I'm going to press save. So I'm going to hit that little dot again. Now I record my track. I drive back to where we start dragging. All right, y'all. Now my motor is still in the up position. It is not down yet. The next step is down here in the left-hand corner in the same exact place. I'm gonna hit the same exact button. It says stop in the left-hand corner. So I press that same button to stop it. That stopped recording. Now at this point, I drop my motor. Now the motor is down. Step number 4, it's not saying anything here, but step number 4 is there's a little button here that says go to. I press go to, And now at the bottom of my screen, on the right hand side this time, it says eye tracks. So I'm going to push the right button right there. Bing! Okay, and I have two options. On the right hand side it says to end. On the left hand side down at the bottom it says to start. We're going back to where we started. So I'm going to press this dot again for to start. And now we're ready to go. My trolling motor. Of course I got my prop turned off. You got to see this little prop thing spinning. Got the prop turned on, it's spinning the boat around, and now it's going to take me out the way I just come in. And I was running about 28 miles an hour recording that. I don't know how fast you can go, but it obviously did it at 28. Now all I got to do is throw out some baits, man, and this trolling motor will do all the work. I don't have to control the boat. If a fish hits the line and spins the boat a little bit, the motor will recorrect and get back on course. That right there is the best money a guy can spend if he's got a boat. The last step, which I ain't done yet, I'm running pretty dang fast, is I have to control my speed. Down here, you see this anchor button? Well, that's the actual spot lock. Just to the left of the anchor button, there's this little dot with all these other dots around it. I don't know what that's supposed to represent. That's my cruise control. So I'm going to press that button. And then up here it says target. Right now it's at 1.8. That's too fast. I'm going to hit the minus button. See, plus and minus. I'm going to hit the minus button to bring that down to 0.5 miles per hour. Keep going, it's at 0.6, 0.5. That's a good dragging speed. Now we just drag on out. Oh, we got hit. That one right there got the first hit. We got hit. 18 foot of water. That fish got me. He couldn't have been much. Had a few small bites coming through here. Might not be too bad of a fish. Almost feels like a flathead. No, it's a blue cat. It's a blue cat. It's a blue cat. It's a blue cat. Oh. All right, y'all. We've been getting small bites all the way down this thing, and then when we got into the 30-foot range, we finally found something that was going to commit. We started at about 15 feet, and this thing just keeps getting deeper, so. We wouldn't have caught nothing if we wouldn't have had the bait, and I wouldn't have had the bait unless I was a master baiter.